Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's show is the long-awaited final instalment to the wonderfully written and incredible journey that has been the Scariest Thing in the Woods series. A channel exclusive and from a dear friend of mine, Mr. Jim Lawrence. A very, very talented man nonetheless. I'm sure you all will agree. Can't wait to see what we have in store for us in the future. As ever, please do let me know what you thought down below. Please do like and share, help build this channel even further. Help us smash through the 20,000 subscriber mark. And of course, don't forget to hashtag TeamFEAR. Without further ado, let's get into tonight's final of the wonderful series entitled The Scariest Thing in the Woods. Homecoming. Let's get straight into that. I rise to leave. I tell my friends to enjoy the bottle my father had provided for them, and that I would be hopefully back tomorrow. Lou and I start to leave when Trent says, "Johnson, you can't leave." I smile, shake my head and walk out the door. Michelle is waiting outside in her car. Nice, a Porsche 718. I start to get in. Lou jumps in the back. Tight fit, but he manages. The marshal storms out and says, "We're not going anywhere." But a stare from Michelle gives him those deadly golden eyes of hers, causes him to pause as she speeds off. "Your friend, mon amour, is so foolish. Does he wish to die? He does not believe in what we are." "Ma chérie, mon loup, you have not called me that for years." "I miss you, James." "I miss you also, Michelle. I wish things had been different." "It can be, mon amour. Marry me tonight. I know the mayor. I will wake him. He will procure the necessary documents. And also, I know the bishop. I will awaken him as well. He will be all too glad to perform the service. I will also make your father a happy man. James, he is not well. We are not immortal, as some believe. He is reaching the winter of his life. Wolves are at their most powerful in the winter, chérie. I have explained to you why we cannot wed, though I do admit I still love you." "I love you too, but in this I am not joking. Your father is not well. He wishes to make amends with you. I have heard him speak this to himself. Marry me. We do not have to consummate our vows. It would bring the light back to your father's eyes. James, he no longer hunts. He sits in his study. He misses your mother, and he misses you. Our marriage would bring joy back to his last years. He may even live longer for grandchildren. If my father was so feeble, who runs the estate? Hey, you? No, I am but your father's attorney. Henri, your cousin, runs the estate." "What, you an attorney, Michelle? How long has this been?" I admit I was pleasantly surprised. "What, Henri runs the household? I wouldn't have thought he could run a boat, much less the land and estate. I studied law at Loyola in New Orleans. I have my master's actually. I don't even live in the estate any longer. I'm only here for your arrival. I live in the French Quarter in New Orleans. Your father contacts me when he needs me. Your cousin is oafish. That is true. James, he also wants to push a marriage with me, though I would rather take my vows as a nun than marry that curl. He has developed a curl manor. He is ruthless, and he has allies that are just as evil. Michelle, I was sent here to deal with an evil. I thought it was my father." "No, James, it is not. Your father barely leaves the manor, mostly just his study and bedroom, and that. Henri thinks he runs everything, and he runs it by force of arms. He will not be happy that you have arrived. He feels like he should inherit the estate. That you left, so you no longer are a part of this family. Mon amour, your father has watched you secretly for years. Any time one of your rescues or achievements, he was so proud. When you were blamed for the men's life that I took, in my anger, he was cross with me wanted to get a message to you to come home. He wanted to protect you. And just like me, James Dehu, he loves you very much, but he's too proud to admit it. We are here, James. Mon amour, you are home. The manor looks well kept. The lawn, the gardens are manicured, and the paint fresh, and there are lights and cameras everywhere. And to say the least, I did not expect this. We exit the car and start up the steps, where we are met by two men. The smell is off. One says, "Good evening, Miss Darnay. Always a pleasure to see you, but we do not recognise your escort. He will have to remain outside with his mongrel till I receive clearance." Michelle laughs a little as we ignore the guards and start to walk in. One guard reaches out to grab my arm as Lou growls a deep, threatening tone. Both guards give a pause as they stare into his yellow eyes. Michelle yells, "You fools! This is James Dehu, the true son of our Lord Dehu. Are either of you foolish enough to test his power? Please, do. I would love the entertainment." Both guards back off and we enter. The place is not how I remember it. Beautifully decorated, kind of a mix of French, provincial, and modern. We head directly for my father's study, and I hear a voice behind me. "Well, well, the prodigal returns." I turn to see my cousin Henri. He puts out his hand, and I reach to shake it, and he quickly moves and slams me to the stomach. I am caught by surprise and double over, only to catch his fist on my chin. I crumple to the ground, and Lou hits Henry solid. Even a supernatural being like my cousin cannot stand before Lou's power. I am back to my feet by now and pick my cousin up. I stare him deep in his eyes. You can see the anger well up in me. Lou growls to add to the point. "Do you have a problem with me, cousin?" "Yes, you are gone for years, and the moment your father lies ill, you show up to play the lord of the manor. Yes, I have a problem." He snarls again as he struggles with my grip. "I'm going to kill that cur of yours." But then he stares into Lou's eyes. "What is he?" "My brother." And as I throw Henri to the ground, I say, "Don't worry. Nothing has changed. I'm going to see my father now," and I enter my father's room. He is sitting at his desk. He looks at me for a second, and another second later, I see all the things Michelle told in his eyes. The pride, the love, all of the things I missed as a child. His face quickly returns to stone as he says, "Well, I might have known you would be the source of this interruption. Well, have you come home to apologize, marry your betrothed, and come home where you are needed, where I need you?" I bow to my father and say, "Oui, mon papa." I tell Michelle of our conversation, and she looks at me aghast. "Do you mean it? Or are you just saying that to the old man, to keep the old man happy?" "Oui, mon chéri. We will marry." "You plan your wedding, though I must finish what I have come to do first." She is excited. I spend that night at the mansion. I take breakfast with my father. As he enters, I stand and bow to him. He smiles. "My son, we are not nobles in this land. To be a noble here, you must entertain the masses. I prefer seclusion, as I hope you will." I ask father about the Sasquatch and Dogman to see if he knows anything about them. He tells me my senses have been dulled. Living as a man instead of a wolf. The Sasquatch are the old men of the forest. They have always hid from men. Most men have enough sense to not seek them out. But in this day and time, most men have no sense at all. The Dogman, as you call them, race started with a First Nation tribe, where certain members would undergo a ritual to become a wolf. Somehow, they multiplied and lost the ability to return to human form. The others are the unique ones. They are like us. Though far more primitive, they cannot shed their humanity at will as we can. They share our strength, at least somewhat. They don't retain their minds though. Little more than animals that can be controlled. Your cousin exploits this and hires them as his personal guard. A question for you this time, my son. The wolf that walks with you. He is strange, intelligent on a higher level than any wolf I have ever seen. And his presence is almost commanding. I relate the story of the hunt for the Wendigo, how the Wahila had fought by our side. It had fallen prey to the monster, but after his death his spirit entered Lou's body. My father is viably impressed. Tell me more of your adventures, my son. To the side, I hear. Yes, James, do regale us with your heroic travels. I say good morning to Henri, but my father just ignores him. See how I am treated, James? My uncle disdains me, and I am the one that stayed while you left to be the hero, the brave musketeer, one of the king's own bodyguard, the paladin, the knight. Oh, wait, you were never knighted, were you? You were disgraced because you could not kill the beast of Gévaudan. Our family lost favour and had to flee France. A sweet voice interrupts the argument. Good morning, mon papa, she says to my father. She has called him that since the death of her parents. My father smiles to see her, as she kisses his cheek. Good morning, Henri, she says with a nod. And good morning to you, mon chien, as she hugs Lou. Man, is he eating that up. And last, and never least, she says good morning to me, and kisses me. Did I interrupt you men and your grim behaviour? Not at all, Michel, I say. Henri was just regaling us with a fancy story for which he had made up. Henri looks daggers through me. He has really come to hate me over the years. Henri storms out, and my father just shakes his head. A little more talking and telling stories, and Michel and I leave. I talk to my friends, and Michel put into motion whatever it is that women do when planning their weddings. I talk to Tom and Bill about what happened. I'm not sure what my reason is here. My father is too feeble to be the evil I was sent here to deal with. His pack of lessers might pose a problem, but I doubt it. I tell them that I decided to marry Michelle, and Bill, Tony and Steve are excited and happy for me. But the Marshal isn't, telling me there is no honeymoon suite in a federal prison. I tell him he has no proof and no witness. He loses his temper and shouts that you are my witness, unless you commit a federal crime by purging yourself. I smile and say no, I don't have to do that. Remember, a husband doesn't have to testify against his wife. He storms off, while the rest of us laugh. I only have one problem now to figure out. Why am I here? To figure out who or what down here is the scariest thing in the woods. The Scariest Thing in the Woods. Homecoming, Part 2. Let's get straight into that. Trent and I square off. Look, big man, I don't want to fight with you. This runs much deeper than you realise. There are powers at work here that you don't understand. He shouts, I understand enough. I understand that 3 men were killed in Luftkin. I understand that you said that women killed them. It's my job to bring in the killer. Think, man, those men were torn apart. Do you think Michelle was capable of that kind of carnage? You said she was. Maybe she also has a dog like that one. And he points to Lou. I swear, that dog just rolls his eyes. Look, Trent, I say, in case you're not on the same page as everyone else here, we are not dealing with the normal anymore. And everything hasn't been brought to light yet. While I'm arguing with Trent, I hear the sounds of motorcycles approaching. I also notice Lou's ears perk up. I turn to see 6 men on motorcycles riding up. 2 of them I recognise as the guards at the house last night. I tell everyone, be on your toes. This may be trouble. The leader walks up to me, says we're having business, Dehu. You and your friends need to leave before we all have a little party. I look at the leader, my eyes already shining amber. In what world do you think you can handle me? I would rip you up like the mongrels you are. You will not do that, he says arrogantly to me. You see, we know you will not assume your true form in polite company. He gestures to my friends. He goes on to tell me that while a couple of my boys are handling you, that leaves the rest of us to deal with your friends. Lou is visibly growling, now hackles back, ready to fight. I look the leader in the eyes and tell him, if you injure any of my friends, I will hunt you down and totally, painfully destroy you. Before he can even allow the words to sink in, I hit him right between the eyes, hard, and the fight is on. Lou charges the next one, in line, knocking him off his feet, then, clamping his jaws on a man's hand, proceeds to drag him, at will. Trent engages one and seems to be holding his own. I release a small portion of my strength, throwing one into three others. I tell the leader, this has gone far enough. Now, stand down before this gets, and I emphasize the word hairy. The men regain their feet. Even Lou releases the one he had been dragging to the ground. The leader shouts, "This isn't over yet, Dahoo!" I tell him, yes it is. You tell Henri that his pack of lessers are lucky this time. And if it's pursued, y'all will not be so lucky next time. Yellow eyes lock into yellow eyes, and the lessers back down. They get on their bikes and leave. I hear Bill ask me if I'm alright. I say yes. But I guess it's time I put all the cards on the table. You four are in a lot of danger, and I might not be able to protect you. Let's head someplace more secluded, and we will talk. We go back to Bill's suite and settle in as I begin my story. My name is James Dahoo, not Jim Johnson. I changed my name several years ago when my father disowned me. I made my life in the deep woods, mostly in the north. And I guess now that things are smoothed out, I'm actually going to marry. What I am is what you would call a werewolf, though it's not what we call ourselves. But that's not important. My father, Michel, Henri, and myself are known as purebreeds, and it is largely believed we are the last of our kind. The difference in me and what you saw out there is they are cursed. I am born to be this. They were men once. I was born to be what I am. Trent breaks in. Oh, does it take silver bullets to hurt or kill you? No. I'm not immortal. I have to be killed with supernatural means, and we heal very fast. I take out my knife and cut my arm. It is painful, I tell them, but you will notice the blood has already stopped, and before nightfall there will not even be a scar. What makes us very hard to kill is our bone structure. My kind is very strong, but unlike the superhero movies, being strong means nothing if the body is fragile. Getting a bullet through my rib is next to impossible. Put one in my head, unless you hit the eye socket, is impossible. So if you're shooting at any werewolf, and I also believe dogmen share the same traits, aim below the ribcage. That will hurt and maybe slow one down. Maybe slow one of us down long enough to get in a kill shot. The key is harder metal. Titanium would do the best, but there is no accuracy with a round like that. Tom asked a question this time. Jim, you told me that there was no such thing as werewolves. On a couple of occasions. I understand why, but you couldn't tell me? But why a straight up lie? Tom, I'm sorry for that, but I had to protect the existence of my kind. I had to throw you off track. If I had told you I originally went to the LBL to kill a lesser werewolf, which is what I had originally thought it was, you would have seen that my next vacation was in the nut house. I admit, I have been surprised lately about the number of creatures that have shown up. I have only heard rumours about Sasquatch and the Dogman. I knew of the lesser werewolves, and they are very dangerous. I will keep my mind and even my personality when I transform, even my power of speech to an extent. But lesser wares are pure evil. They kill for fun of killing. They tend to lose themselves in a transformation. Not wolves and not men either. Just a supernatural killing machine. Bill asked the next question. Why are there no more of you? Michelle had to have a mother, a father, and your cousin Henri also. Yeah, there is a disease that does affect us. We call it the madness. It tends to make us like the lessers, uncontrollable. Michelle's father succumbed to the disease while we were yet in France. Her mother died in our crossing. Both of Henri's parents had it, and I fear he may also have it. My mother took her own life when she felt the disease come over her. My father would never allow himself to be controlled by anything. So now, gentlemen, you know my secret. Still want to follow me on this quest. I will not blame any of you if you want to get out now. Like I said, it will be dangerous. There's a lot of scary things out in those woods. Trent is quick to remind me that Michelle murdered 3 men in Luftkin. I have to bring her in to stand trial for that. I don't believe the law has stipulations for the supernatural creatures. She still has to be brought in. It's my job to do that, and I would think as an officer of the courts yourself, you would want to help, and also clear your name. I look at Trent and say, in all seriousness, think about it for a minute. You arrest her, if you could without her slicing your stomach open like a prize steer, and she stands trial for murder. I can hear the defence now. Miss Darney, you are accused of the brutal murder I come to and must stop him. He will kill until our secret is made public. I tell her, are you sure that he is just not needing a vent off steam? She tells me, no, my love. I did not tell you he followed me to college while you were rescuing those people in Canada. He was stalking the campus, killing at least 3 men and 4 women. I thought then the madness had overtaken him. But I was finally able to convince him to leave. He went out and found that pack of lessers and recruited them, promising them they would share in the carnage he would leave in his wake. James, you are the only one that can stop him. I have no wish to be parted from you, my love, but I will have to come with you to see nothing happens to you, if you desire me to. I tell her no, that this is for me to do alone. Well, with Lou as well. As you wish, mon amour. I will stay at the estate to watch your father, and your friends may stay there also. I can better watch over them there. Henri and his pack left at first light, heading into the bayous to the southeast. I pack my gear immediately. Michelle drives us to the estate, where Lou and I plunge headlong into the forest. I pray I am doing the right thing. I leave my friends in the care of the woman I plan to wed. She is intelligent, charming, easily the most dangerous person to walk on 2 or 4 legs. The scariest thing in the woods. The hunt. Let's get straight into that. Picking up and keeping on the trail of a creature that was born to travel in this terrain isn't easy, but Lou and I manage, mostly due to his keen nose. Those lessers have joined in with him, though they are a few hours behind him. Kinda strange, come to think of it. Why wouldn't they be travelling together? I travel through the night, and I hope this doesn't come to a fight. I am more than a match for Henri, but him and several others might be more than I can handle. As dawn starts to break over the bayous, the tracks of the lessers are gone. Could they be trying to flank me? I guess I had better be on my guard. The day passes and no sign of a werewolf pack. I believe I am still on Henri's trail though. Call it instinct, or our blood, or sheer dumb luck. I managed to catch up to him, but he's in human form. And again, I think this is strange. Normally, when the madness hits, we only assume our human guise, if necessary. Also, he doesn't seem to be in much of a hurry. An ambush, perhaps? I approach slowly. Hello, James. I hear Henri speak. I have no idea why you're out here after me. I wouldn't have thought I was worthy prey for the great James the Who to come searching for. I thought that you would be thrilled that I left and allowed you to free rein. I came to stop you from this mad plan you have and put a stop to your madness. I have no desire to end you, Henri, but I cannot allow you to kill innocents. Henri's first look is puzzlement, and then he laughs. You think the madness is on me? Oh, James, you are ever the clown. I don't have the madness. Your father and I found a cure for it several years ago. The solution was so simple. Why do you think your father never caught the madness, or you for that matter? Purpose is the answer. The more driven we are to accomplish something, the madness stays at bay. When we surrender to our base desires is when the madness overcomes us. Then why are you out here? I ask. To try and start a new life. Michelle purchased an estate for me around Port Charles. I guess I'm going to try and start a new life and try to live like you. My thoughts race. I have been duped. My friends are with Michelle, and I'm out of the picture. I have to get back. I'm sorry, Henri. I was told different. Henri smiles. There, yes. I hear the branch break. You! In the clearing! Freeze! We know what you are, and we have the firepower to bring you down. Back at the estates, Michelle shows the 4 men to their quarters. This is the west wing of the house, gentlemen. Please, for your own safety, I will ask you not to leave it until James returns. Trent turns on the lady. Say, I need to talk to you. Michelle sizes up the big man. You are the gendarmerie? What do you wish to speak to me about? Trent says, I would like to talk to you about the murder of the 3 men in Lufkin, Texas. Michelle waves a dismissing hand and laughing lightly. I am sure James has told you what we are. A secret I am most assured you will take to your grave, if anyone bothers to dig one. So the affairs of men trouble me very little. This we will discuss more when James returns. 2 women enter the room. These gentlemen are my personal maids. They will see to your comfort. Au revoir, gentlemen. Au revoir. As she leaves, one of the so-called maids looks at the men, licking her lips. The gesture is not missed by all 4 men. That they now understand what the mouse feels like when looking at a cat. Bill breaks the silence. I thought they all went with Henri. Or am I the only one here that feels like we might have been played? Steve rushes to the door, and of course, it's locked. Trent applies his strength to the door, but it doesn't budge, and a voice from the other side says, Sorry, little piggies, but you cannot come out right now. But don't worry. Maybe my mistress will allow me to come in and play with you a little later. Say, when the moon is high. In the bayou, things are not going much better. A squad of men in tactical clothing and heavy automatic weapons have myself, Lou, and Henri surrounded. One, apparently the leader, speaks. Who are you? We know who and what this one is, pointing towards Henri. But we don't know. And why are you out here? I'm Jim Johnson. This is my dog. I'm a US Forest Ranger. I was visiting family down here, and something spooked the livestock. I was tracking the creature and ran into him, hoping that they would fall for this lie. I don't think whatever it is will bother y'all, so if you don't mind, my dog and I will get back to our hunt. I expand my senses. These men are good. Otherwise, they never would have got this close. This is an impressive ambush. I count 4 in the clearing, and at least 6 more I cannot see. I don't see why not, the leader says. Good luck in your hunt, and he nods to the 2 of his men. I don't miss the movement. Good luck out there, buddy. I head into the brush. Lou and I duck immediately as automatic weapons open fire at us. The forest is mine, and Lou's home, and these men are intruders. I hear Henri scream in pain in the growl as he starts to change. What did those men mean when they said they knew what he was? Lou and I split up. No need to change to handle these men. They will not be that hard. I move in behind the 2 following me and spring my own ambush. The 2 men are quickly out of commission, but a 3rd steps out, leaving his weapon at me. I'm not surprised at all. I merely smile. Lou hits him like a freight train. He doesn't even have time to draw a breath before he can no longer do that. Lou and I circle around the clearing, taking out 2 more men silently. I overlook the clearing. 6 men have Henri pinned down. The fools. They think they've won. Henri has now assumed his full hunting form and raises, knocking the men backwards. The leader calls for more men, but when no one answers, he knows it's over. Henri easily kills the other men and then turns to the leader. I step out and yell, Cousin, don't! I need information. The man is falling back, terrified. I grab the man and pull him to his feet. Tell me who you work for, I yell in his face. It doesn't do any good. He's too well trained. He prefers death to telling us what he knows. As he bites down on something hidden in his mouth, the fight is over. Henri and I talk for a bit. I ask him to return with me, and he tells me no. I have nothing back there. Michelle has been running everything for a while, and all he can tell me is he has overheard a few phone calls, and all he knows is she is planning something with some testing facility. But that's all he knows. We say our goodbyes. He heads off to make his own life. I wish my cousin good luck, and remember, we're not the scariest thing in the woods. I race back to the estate, praying I'm not too late. Back at the estate, Trent is still trying to unlock the door. Got it, he exclaims as he slowly opened the door. But, to his surprise, the door is blocked by the leader of the biker gang that Michelle employs. He laughs and pushes Trent back. I hear you want to talk to me, big man. Just what the hell do you want? Trent says. I never said I wanted to talk to a lackey like you. Oh, the man says. I thought you had a question about a murder that took place in Lufkin. Because I killed those 3 men. They were drunk and obnoxious, just like you. And I ripped them apart, just like I'm going to do to you. Tomorrow night, when the moon rises, the mistress has given me permission to do the very same to you. Trent hits the man between the eyes with as much force as he can muster. And to his credit, he does knock the man back a few steps, and the man slams Trent in the gut, knocking him to his knees. You can't hurt me, fool. I should kill you now. It may take me a little longer in this form, but you will be just as dead. But I want to rip your still beating heart out of your chest and devour it right in front of your eyes before they go dark. One more swing then sends Trent backwards onto the floor. The man leaves and Trent starts to laugh. Tom and Steve help Trent to his feet. Why are you laughing? And Trent gains his composure. I just remembered. I didn't think about it. You know, dealing with the monsters and all. I'm still armed, as he produces his Glock. I may not be able to do much, but maybe, just maybe, I will surprise that son of a bitch. I make it back to the estate the next day, but late. I pray I'm not too late, as I watch the sun set and full moon rise. Unlike the Lessers, I am not forced to turn under the influence of the moon, but I am stronger. I have questions. I want to know why Michelle lied, and is there something deeper going on here? The evil to the south? Of course, it wouldn't be a small pack of Lessers. Damn, I'm naive. I want to believe her so much. What is she planning? Are my friends even still alive? So many questions, so few answers. I have to go in. Well, no time like the present. I stride towards the front door, Lou following me to one side. When this estate was built, it was built from the 17th century French chateau. In mind 2 large wings, one for the family, the other for the visitors, and central ballroom, almost as if it came out of a story of Beauty and the Beast. Bill, Steve and Tom and Trent are ushered in with Michelle sitting in the master of the house's chair, the 2 women flanking her and 3 of the 5 men that acted as her guard. Striding, I head over to them. Michelle rises and begins to speak. Gentlemen, allow me to once more welcome you to Chateau de Hue. Things have not gone altogether as I planned, so I regret to inform you, you will die tonight, when the moon reaches its zenith. Before she can speak another word, all hell breaks loose. The moonlight shines into the hall, and bodies start to contort. Michelle has half a smile on her face like this was planned all along. Lou, almost instinctively, but before we can get into position, the light of the full moon shines, bright on the courtyard. The 2 guards drop their weapons and start getting out of their clothing. The change for the Lessers is much more painful than mine. Maybe it's because the moon forces them to change, and I can change at will. They change quick enough as I approach the 2-man wolf stand where 2 men stood before. They charge me. I brace for the attack, channeling some of my power from the moonlight, but not allowing myself to turn. I just hope it's enough. I only have to concern myself with one as Lou hits the other one from the flank. The other one halts his charge and stares in awe as the mighty wolf, no, the Wahila, no, my brother, rips into the supernatural creature. The lesser werewolf doesn't stand a chance, and while the other one is distracted at the sight, I simply slice open his throat with my titanium blade. That, by itself, is not enough to kill it, but the second the blade goes in, and up, and under the ribcage, and touching the lesser's heart, I plunge it in a bit deeper to make sure he will not recover. Lou has finally finished the other one. That will not recover either. We enter the house. Bill, Tom, Steve and Trent look on horrified as the lesser werewolves change, while Michelle looks on from her chair. "You see, my dog soldiers will slay you, and then I will allow them to rough me up a bit while I protect James's father. You are dead." James sees me as this person that wants to protect family, allies, right with the world. Bill speaks up except for the fact that Jim will hunt you down, your whole pack, killing every one of them. How do your soldiers, as you call them, feel about giving up their lives so you can live happily ever after? Michelle laughs. "Ha ha ha ha. My dogs do what I tell them. What is their lives compared to my happiness?" One of the werewolves does much to understand though, and the former leader of the pack shows a sign of clarity in his eyes as another's voice speaks. "Michelle, what are you doing?" A strong but feeble voice rings out. All turn to see the ancient Lord Dehue up from his bed. "Why are these mongrel in my house? Get their filthy asses out of my house now! How dare you threaten James's friends that have been given shelter under my roof? There will be no repeat of the Black Dinner of Scotland in my house." Michelle screams, "What are you doing, you old toothless wolf? Now I will have to kill you also, just like you had my father killed." Another voice, and this one strong and commanding, silences the room. "This madness stops now!" The voice belongs to Jim Johnson, as he stands in the doorway, flanked by the largest wolf anyone has ever seen, muscle coated with the blood of his last kill. "Michelle, release your pack and tell them to flee, or by King Lycan, I will slaughter them all." Michelle screams, "No! James, I guess this is how it ends then. Soldiers, kill them all!" Four of the lesser werewolves charge across the floor towards Jim and Lou, who meet them halfway across the floor, claw versus claw, and fang versus fang. Jim has tapped into his primordial power, but does not allow himself to get carried away. Though he is visibly taller, stockier, he is fighting with his blades. The fifth werewolf does not enter the fray. He turns and stalks towards the group of humans. He raises to his full height, a little over 7 feet, and snarls at Trent.
"I told you, human, that I would pull out and devour your still beating heart before your eyes go dark."
He charges, but Trent is already moving, remembering everything Jim had told him about how to kill werewolves. He dives under the beast, and before fang and claw can connect, he remembers that the bones in the chest and skull are hard to penetrate. He takes aim at the throat. On a man, it's a soft cartilage. He fires 10 rounds into the creature's throat, and the werewolf has almost a comic look on its face as it clutches its wounded throat with its lifeblood gushing out. 2 more rounds in its abdomen, and the creature is visibly slowed. Trent fires the last round into its groin, and the werewolf drops to its knees in visible pain. Trent had clipped the femoral artery. The wounded creature remains enough of its mind to know it can't win this fight, and flees, crashing through the window to make its escape. Jim and Lou are each battling too. Lou has a death grip on one of the werewolf's throat, and it's slowly losing the light from its eyes. But the second one has bit into Lou's shoulder, and is raking its claws against his unprotected stomach. Jim plants one of his blades deep into the werewolf's chest. The heavy bone structure is no match for Jim's werewolf strength. He notices that Lou is in trouble, and throws the one he's fighting with to the side to rescue his brother. But the second one he is fighting has locked its jaws on his leg, and he knows he will be hard pressed to get there in time. Lord Dehue is shaking and praying that he could transform. He would kill these foolish interlopers, but he knows his age is too great and his body could never handle the strain. His mind, though, is still sharp, and he sees the sword on the wall. He quickly pulls the massive bastard sword off of the wall, its edge gleaming like a razor. He looks at James and sees that James is taking on his full hunting form. The old man yells to his son, "My son, take your sword!" As he throws it to him, James is caught in the transformation, but his mind is also sharp as he sees his father throw the great sword his way. Memories flood into his mind, and he deftly catches the weapon and with one swing, the clawed hand of the werewolf trying to hold him are cut from its body. Another swing ends its life permanently. He moves with the grace and ease to lose sight, and with another mighty swing ends the life of the creature trying to kill Lou. The one in Lou's jaws is also dead. James Dahu turns towards the one he had plunged the knife into, and with one more mighty swipe slices him collar to groin. This fight is over. Or is it? James Dahu stands, fully transformed. Over 10 feet tall, massive muscles, huge sword gleaming in his hand. Everyone stares in awe, several wondering what happens next. The marshal slams his second clip home into his Glock. James lets out a loud, feral howl, but joins in. Michelle is the first to break the silence. "You are truly magnificent, mon amour." James looks at her in his eyes, asking the question, why? Power, my love? Simply power. Our kind are not hidden anymore. True. There are no true-born left. You and I are the last. That is known. The dogmen are being seen more, and more these days. Some of them are lessers that are tired of hiding. Humans know of us. And well, you know, man wanted to exploit us for their own gain. I decided that I would not allow them to do their little experiments. Anything they create, I was sure I could control. That we could control. No, Michelle, this ends here and now. I helped Henri escape your trap. Your pack of lessers are all dead. Your plans have come to an end. Michelle moves with an almost superhuman speed and grabs Bill from behind, placing very deadly claws to his throat. What will you do now, mon amour? Will you turn me over to the law of this land? What do you think they will do? They will not put me on a public trial. They will hide me away and experiment on me. Perhaps you will kill me yourself, like your father had killed my father to protect his position with that king. No, James, you will do none of these things. This is the human you are most fond of. I will kill him if you do not do as I say. Your vow of honor, I am free to go, and that you will not hunt me. In return, I allow this man to live, and I will not help those that would play God create others. What is your answer, mon amour? Before anyone could speak again, a shot deafens the room, and Trent put a well-placed round in the back of her head, just below the skull. Michelle's eyes burn bright yellow for a second, as she crumples to the floor. James races to her side and holds her now lifeless body. Another howl escapes from him. This one, not of victory, but of pure sorrow. The great werewolf moves with a speed that few can follow, grabbing the marshal, lifting him off the ground, and up to eye level. To Trent's credit, he didn't even flinch, saying, "Easy, Johnson, you know I had to do it." The old man speaks softly to his son. "Mon loup, no more death tonight, James. Drop the man." Jim Johnson does as he's told and kneels down before his father. In a few moments, he has no long legs of a great monster, but a man sitting on the ground sobbing, with Lou comforting him. The episode is over. It's reported to the authorities that a gang had tried to take control of the Dahu estate, causing in a battle between federal marshals and others staying at the house. The bodies of 4 men and 2 women, not accounting for the body of Michelle, that was laid to rest in a family sepulchre. The body of the gang leader was never recovered, though few thought he could survive his wounds. Most likely he fell into the bayou and was food for the gators. Tom returned to his life as a ranger, and Trent, still a US Marshal, is very hush-hush about his ordeal. Jim left with Bill and Steve, and there were more creatures out there. Some that man needed to be protected from, and some that needed protecting from man. Epilogue. Yes, sir. Project Rougarou is now go. I thought we lost the test subject. Affirmative, sir. Original test subject has gone off grid, but we have acquired a secondary subject. Excellent. Transported to the test site.
Transition. Over.
Wow. Wow. Absolutely riveting, intense, adrenaline kicking story there, Jim. My God, I've been absolutely itching to get this one out and put a close to the series. As I said before, Jim, thank you so much, brother, for your kind support, your dedication to this channel, and just your wonderful messages back and forth, you know, chatting with me over the Facebook and what have. Just really appreciate it, buddy. I don't know if you noticed, Jim, but you are very popular here on the channel. You definitely have a talent, my friend, and you need to definitely pursue, you know, publishing some of these into hardback books or whatever, some sort of format. I'll be more than happy to try and help you in any way I can with that. Guys and girls, there we go. The end to the wonderful Scariest Thing in the Woods series. As ever, please do let me know down below in the comments what you thought. Please do like and share. Help build this channel and our community. Help us smash through 20,000 subscribers. And as ever, don't forget to hashtag TeamFEAR. If you fancy yourself as maybe a writer or an author, or just want to have a crack at a story, or possibly have an absolutely terrifying experience that you can't quite get your head around and absolutely sticks with you through the late nights as you're trying to sleep, please do get at me either by email or in the comments or over at the cabin Facebook group. And the email, as you know, is dmtforestofear@gmail.com. Stay tuned for more breaking news from myself. Just looking into building the website this weekend. Should be www.dead-man-talking.com. Obviously, as soon as I got that ready and live to go, I'll let you guys know. I hope you're all well and happy, and looking forward to a fantastic weekend with friends or family. And above all, remember, be safe, not sorry.